Gary's economics has absolutely blown up. We're going to take a look at a debate he has on Diary of a CEO, and he's using some very specific patterns to create an illusion.
Our kids will be rich, their kids will be poor. And I just think we should be honest. Capitalism's finished.
They're highly effective. Once you see them, you won't unsee them. You'll start to spot them. Look how many times in this debate he refers to our viewers.
Our kids will be rich, their kids will be poor. They'll pay the taxes. We won't pay the taxes. We'll avoid it. I'll make money betting on it year after year. Why are we lying to them?
Yeah, I think that's an overly simplified view of things.
I want what's best for our viewers. Our viewers can't pay for this. So it creates this illusion of he's fighting for me.
Even your viewers are here. Listen, Stephen, your viewers are here. You are a very wealthy person. They are paying 20, 30, 40, 50%. You should be paying your fair share, Stephen. You should. I'm here to protect the working class.
The other technique he uses is, I know that I'm probably going to lose.
I don't come here saying I want to tax rich people because it's easy. I know it's hard. I know probably I'm going to lose.
That's effective because it's true. There are battles worth fighting even when you know you're going to lose.
I'm probably going to lose. And that's why I bet on the economy getting worse. And that's why I know probably it's going to increase.
That kind of alleviates the expectation of any of this actually working.
And I know we're losing the argument. And I know that Farage will win. And I know that Trump will win. And I know that things will get worse. I don't think I'm going to win.
That's part of the hero's archetype that resonates with us deeply, which is one of the reasons I think that he's taking off.
I don't think it's impossible that we ordinary people can win and get a fair air, but I think it's worth fighting for, Steve, so I fight for it anyway.
Don't underestimate the power of repetition by doing this repeatedly.
I know it's difficult, and I know I'm probably going to lose. I know I'm probably going to lose, and that means our viewers will be poor. But I do it anyway because I do not want this country that I grew up in to fall into desperate poverty.
Yeah, who does? Where have we heard that before? Well, I'm against poverty.
If you know you're promoting a strategy that is not going to work, and it sounds like you think is incredibly almost impossible, then why would you not be more practical in your solutions?
Stephen, if it was impossible, I wouldn't be here.
So you think it's possible?
Of course it's possible. Of course it's possible.
But you believe you're not going to win?
I'm a betting man, Steve. I'm a betting man. I put my bets on. You know, I am. If I get
and then he moves right back to our viewers.
I know our viewers' kids will live in desperate poverty. I know that. I do this because it is hard.
It fosters their social relationship.
If we are a country which says to ourselves, we don't try and do things which are necessary to keep our kids out of poverty because they are hard, then our kids will live in poverty. I don't need to be here.
He keeps reasoning, I don't need to be here. I've already made money.
I'm a multimillionaire, just like you. I could be in the Philippines drinking pina coladas.
So why would I lie? It does create an air of credibility.
Because I come from a poor background, and it's ordinary families like my family, like the kids I grew up with, whose kids are going to be in poverty. It's difficult, but it is necessary. Sometimes we have to do things not because they're easy, but because they are hard. That is what makes a rich country rich.
He builds upon that story. Notice how many times throughout this debate he repeats this over and over again.
We're millionaires, okay? The people who watch us are mostly not millionaires. Is life going to get better for them?
There's a sense of he's fighting for us, and that causes us to kind of override the logic of what's being said.
I agree with you on the passion, and I agree with you on the problem. I don't agree with you on the solution because in 2019,
we'll all be rich and our kids will be rich.
In 2020, and that's not what I'm saying.
As opposed to the guy who's debating, who doesn't do that at all. He's just trying to address the logic here, and it doesn't resonate in the same way.
So if I get given £10 billion, I don't pay any tax. But if I work for £10 billion, I pay 60%.
If you inherit
this is the tax system that you want, you will end up in a system where the kids of the rich will own everything.
I'm just saying
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And that's because that's our kids.
You're not telling the truth about his
Let's support it.
situation.
Let's have a tax system where your kids and my kids and Stephen's kids are multimillionaires, and these guys out there can't afford to feed their kids and put the heat in.
That's not what I'm saying.
There it is right there. He's breaking the fourth wall and talking to his viewers.
That's what I'm betting on. That's fine because I'll make my markets. It's fine. And you'll make money and you'll make money. It's our viewers who will be poor, and that's fine.
So why would he be lying? Because he's got nothing to gain and nothing to lose. It's getting harder and harder to tell what is true and who's benefiting from the stories that they are pushing. Ground News is an app and website that lets you compare perspectives on any topic with full transparency. It helps you spot the best political and financial interests behind the headlines, follow your favorite topics, swipe between perspectives to form your own opinion, or you can simply paste any article link into their search to find the truth. That's why honestly I do think Ground News is one of the best tools to actually examine your bias and try and attempt transparency. It's not just some new tool that you have to learn to use. It's very intuitive. And in today's climate, clarity is no longer a luxury. That's why you can get 40% off the same Vantage plan I've been using. That's $5 a month, unlimited access to everything I've mentioned and more. Go to ground.news/Smith. If you actually want to know what's going on, take back control of your thinking using Ground News. And the reality was pretty shocking.
That's fine. It's fine for us.
Let's explore the other alternative, right? So let's say tax the rich, right?
Yeah.
So let's play the game of tax the rich.
Tax the owners, not the workers.
Yeah.
Claiming to know which is right. I'm just trying to point out the flaw I'm seeing with this.
If you come up with this idea of let's tax richest people 1%, if a tiny proportion of them leave, we're all in trouble.
So what that 1% does has a 30% impact. What the 10% does has a 60% impact.
In the UK, 1% of people pay 30% of the taxes, 10% of people pay 60% of the taxes.
They use the analogy of you go out to dinner.
And one person says, hey, I've got this, I'll get 60% of the bill tonight. We say to them, no, it should be 70%, it should be 80%. And they say, you know what, I'll get up and leave. So they leave, everyone else will just doubled.
And one of the most important points is that ever since COVID, we are mobile than ever before.
In 2020, we made a decision globally to shut down the economy, and we taught everyone that they can live and work from anywhere. The biggest threat to everything you're saying is remote working. The fact that we can live and work from anywhere.
Which means that these millionaires have the ability to leave more so than ever before.
The Duke of Westminster inherited £10 billion and paid nothing. Do you think that's fair?
That's not true.
So watch what happens when Gary tries to break this down as though it is really simple.
Okay, why is it not true?
Because the Duke of Westminster is one of the highest taxpayers in the country.
What does he pay?
He'd pay income tax, corporate tax, he'd pay stamp duty when he buys a building. Inheritance tax is 40% across the course of your life. The truth is he's one of the highest taxpayers in the UK. He's one of the biggest employers in the UK. He's one of the biggest
landowners in the UK.
Landowners in the UK.
No, it seems to be the problem is land ownership. Are you going to reclaim that land? If not, what are you actually proposing?
Inheritance is not income.
So wait. So if I get given £10 billion, I don't pay any tax. But if I work for £10 billion, I pay 60%.
Every dollar that he's inheriting, someone already paid taxes on that. Do I have the right to pass along the fruits of my labor to my ancestors without them being taxed again?
If you inherit
This is the tax system one. You will end up in a system
I'm just
where
simply saying-
the kids of the rich will own everything.
I'm just saying
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And that's fine because that's our kids.
You're not telling
That's
the
fine. You
truth
know what?
about his
Let's support it. Let's have a
situation.
tax system.
That's the problem, is he's equating inheritance with income. It's an illusion here. It's a slippery illusion.
And these guys out there can't afford to feed their kids and put the heat in.
That's not what I'm saying.
But that's what you will get.
That's not what I'm
That is
saying.
what you will get. Listen. That's what I'm betting on. That's fine because I'll make money in the markets. It's fine. And you'll make money and you'll make money. It's our viewers who will be poor. And that's fine. I want your viewers, the viewers here, to be paying less tax.
Okay.
Whilst multimillionaires pay more tax.
Good in theory, but if you could tax rich people 1% of their wealth above 10 million, you might be able to get 20 billion. Right? That's if they don't leave. That's if they don't respond to it. If they just happily pay it, you get 20 billion. That's less than a week worth of current government spending.
I'm intrigued by the comments and how he has become this massive phenomenon in a way.
Okay, so let's get that 20 billion and cut the taxes for the viewers. Cut their income
So that
taxes.
works out about 250 a year.
And not only is it a YouTube channel, it's become this movement that's gaining support and politicians are listening.
Our young people can have that as well, but they won't get it unless they fight for it. So I would encourage people to educate themselves, support my work, get involved politically. If you don't play politics, I guarantee you the other side will play politics. And that means your kids and your grandkids live in poverty.
I was just intrigued by this specific debate because I started to notice some patterns that I think are a little bit sneaky.
Can we zoom out just, right? I want to zoom out.
Let's zoom away from our viewers' kids.
Zoom out.
Forget about them. They're not that poor.
I think he's playing with illusions. This one clip, we just saw him combine these three techniques together into this one sequence.
And I would like to say, I will agree 100%. It is difficult to tax rich people.
Yeah.
It is very, very, very difficult to tax rich people.
It's just a tricky thing because there's truth in that as well.
I know it's hard. I know probably I'm going to lose. I know our viewers' kids will live in desperate poverty. I do this because it is hard.
And then throughout this debate, he just repeats it. Now, I'm not even claiming to know which is right. I'm just trying to point out, I started to notice some patterns that I think are a little bit sneaky.
I'm somebody who has made millions of pounds betting on the collapse of society, the collapse of the middle class. I do not have billions of pounds, hundreds of millions of pounds to use to support my YouTube channel. I'm counting on ordinary people like your viewers to support and share my message.
But it's an alluring story that sounds good on the surface, but there's ramifications here that will have a ripple effect, especially in Britain.
I don't want to turn around to our young kids and say, well, I've got this talent, follow your talent. Because it doesn't work, Stephen.
True.
It doesn't work.
He's tapping into a real problem, housing prices, growing inequality. How much of this is actually plausible, and how much of this is an illusion? Be kind of this effective story.